So here we are at another January conference. Some of you, like I, have been here to many of these conferences. Some have been very, very memorable. Others have been kind of so-so. I think today's conference is going to be one you're going to remember. I think it's really it's kind of a turning point in this university. It's been a big year for us on many different fronts, and we'll talk about some of those things during the morning. On behalf of the provost, Tim Chandler, I'd like to welcome you to the January conference for faculty development. The provost, who was here earlier, some of you did get to see him. He will return later, but the provost and President Lesky are over in West Village because today we're hosting the Board of Regents. The Program Policy Committee is meeting there, and it's the tradition for the President and Provost to welcome our Board of Regents. So they start at 9 o'clock. But he'll be back over here with us a little later, so you'll get to see him and talk to him a bit, hopefully. Every year in the provost's office, around kind of the beginning of the fall semester, we begin to discuss the possible topics for the upcoming January conference. And we talk to deans and chairs, and we kind of try to see what is really a hot topic this year. What is something that's really going to really help us and make a difference? This year we started a little bit earlier. And we partnered with some of the folks in CIAT and OTS to focus on the topic of teaching with technology. So, and I think you're gonna like the results. It's gonna be a little different than what we've done in the past. Nationwide, academic innovations are changing the way that we teach. Not necessarily what we teach, but sometimes how we teach. Here in Maryland, our own University System of Maryland, there's a major push to evaluate the use of new technologies in teaching, to experiment, and to assess the effectiveness of some of our strategies. Our keynote speaker later on might be able to elaborate on this a little bit more, but I really think the USM has really become a national leader in this whole movement. And I think we're really, a lot of other systems are looking to us, and we have a chancellor who's really committed to this teaching with technologies. Our Board of Regents last fall approved the creation of a Center for Academic Transformation at the University System of Maryland. They're currently working out the details. The name hasn't been finalized yet. It'll probably have a different name by that point, but they're preparing to do a national search at this point, and that center will be located down in Adelphi. And its major purpose will be to coordinate what's going on in the system, to garner resources through grants and other types of resources, and then to make sure it's distributed out to the campuses where it's needed. Each campus will have a academic innovation fellow, and our fellow from this campus will be our new assistant provost for academic innovation, Jane Neapolitan, that you'll hear from in just a few moments. So it's I think a move, a push that's maturing very quickly. Here at Towson University, we created the Office of Academic Innovation just 2 days ago. It's been long time planning. A lot of thought has gone into this. It's only been activated the last couple of days, and you'll hear more about that in a few moments. The Office of Academic Innovation actually has, as I said, has been in the works for a few years. About 3 years ago, when we were working on the draft for a new strategic plan, we wanted to ensure that academic excellence, the focus on academics was going to be center stage in the new strategic plan. And that wasn't the case in our previous strategic plan. TU 2010 was more about growth, facilities, enhancing athletics. It was more about broadening rather than deepening. So when we came together in 2010 at this conference, we broke into groups, so we talked about different aspects of the strategic plan. I remember that very well because when it was all over, my faculty colleagues said, "Jim, why don't you go up and stand on the stage and address the president and tell him what we came up with?" So I stood up here, and President Corrett was here at the time, and basically said that we want the new plan to be focused on academics. He basically said, okay, draft the new plan, focus it on academics, and fulfill it. The new plan TU 2016 is a very extensive plan. It's being refined by the president, and during the spring semester, she'll be traveling around visiting various colleges and explaining how she took 80-odd action items and she's reduced it down to like 9 themes. And she'll be presenting those around campus. By the way, the new plan, the TU 2016 will soon become TU 2020. So we're extending it out to 2020 because with a change of president here, we had to rethink some of our priorities and some of the president's priorities. And so we're already at 2013. 2016 is just around the corner. So it's being pushed out a little bit, a few more years. 2016, by the way, remember, is our 150th anniversary of the university, so we will still have some type of recognition of that. There'll be a committee that I think has already been formed. It's going to be extended and whatever, and there'll be all kinds of celebrations and things going on that year. One piece of the plan, the draft plan for the next strategic plan, was the creation for a Center for Teaching Excellence. The Office of Academic Innovation is what emerged from that idea of a Center for Teaching Excellence. It's going to be first and foremost a faculty development-oriented office whose resources will be used to improve teaching on our campus and to support ongoing efforts in departments and colleges. We recognize a lot of good things going on already in departments and colleges. And the idea of this office is not to replace that, but to support it. The resources will be provided from this office, and hopefully some new pathways to innovation will be offered. The January conference from this year forward is going to be organized by the Office of Academic Innovation. Remember, this started as the President's January conference, and then the President's office said, well, let's make the Provost's January conference, okay? The Office of Academic Innovation, by the way, is a branch. It's an office, sub-office of the Provost's office. So it will still be supported from the Provost's office. But as in the past, it gives us the time and space to come together, focus on a theme intended to enhance our performance, our teaching. We're going to be, I think, in the future, we may be a little bit more flexible in January. We're thinking about, our Assistant Provost Toya Younger is here. We're thinking about moving commencement possibly back to December. We're working on some plans. That'll give us more flexibility in January for this conference, make it a little less hectic. The agenda for today's conference, along with all the arrangements, are the result of a lot of hard work over several months by the organizing committee. So I want to thank the people in the organizing committee, and I want to recognize them. So when I call your name, if you can just kind of wave your hand if you're here, let us know where you are. Audrey Cutler. Audrey? I saw Audrey earlier. Okay. She's probably in one of the other rooms. She's the senior instructional designer and trainer at CIAT. David Dahl, information technology, the library. David. LaTanya Dyer, instructional designer and trainer at CIAT. Dr. Don Park, I saw him here earlier, thank you. Dr. Jane Neapolitan, is up in the front table here. Dr. Regina Phillips, yes, Gina is in the nursing department. Joe Schmidt, and where is Joe? Joe is our spark plug in the Provost's office. She's the executive admin assistant in the Provost's office. Bridget Sullivan, the art department. Yeah, okay, hey Bridget. James Brammer in computer information science. Okay, thank you. Colleen Ebasher, Dr. Ebasher in foreign languages. Jeremy Farkas, technology and support coordinator in College of Business and Economics. Kimberly Miller, research and instructional librarian for emerging technologies. Okay. Thanks. Once again, thanks to all of you. I hope I didn't leave anyone out. I just used the list of names that was provided on the website for the January conference. But thanks to all of you. It's my pleasure to thank you. My pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Jane Neapolitan. She's, again, our Assistant Provost for Academic Innovation. Jane came to the Provost's office last June as our Interim Associate Provost for Academic Affairs to help me while I was the Interim Provost. She comes from the College of Education, where she still holds the rank of academic rank of full professor. Over the past summer, as President Leschke and I got to know Jane a lot better, we recognized her leadership talents, and we both agreed that we wanted her to remain in the provost's office in some important role. We weren't quite sure what it was going to be. When I suggested that we broaden the concept of a Center for Teaching Excellence into an Office of Academic Innovation, with Jane heading up the effort, the President readily agreed. So we worked all summer on Jane to get her to agree. We had to convince her. She finally came around. The job that she's taken on is a big challenge. Most of us wouldn't know where to begin with this job, but she's had really a great beginning already. She's jumped right into course redesign, doing some research projects with College Park and UMBC on the effectiveness of MOOCs, creating a new office on the 4th floor of Cook Library. That, by the way, they won't be located over there until probably April or May sometime. We have to get Jeff Schmidt and his people out of there, and we have to repaint the office and whatever. He's doing a lot, and a lot more. She's doing an awful lot more. So, Jane, please come on up here, give us a few comments, and then you can introduce our keynote speaker.
All right, now let's see if I can do this. You know, I'm a Mac user. That's always my excuse. So I wanted to bring up the website from, where's Audrey, or maybe someone, even maybe Bonnie. Could you help me out? Oh, here she is. Okay. All right. Sorry. Just not sure how to get it. All right, okay, great. Okay, just move that up a little bit. So right now, this is it. It's one page on the Towson University website. But first, I really want to thank Jim for his very kind remarks. It has been a very gratifying journey of working in the provost's office and getting that perspective that most faculty don't have. This is my 14th year on campus, and I am just so energized by this new opportunity. And someone earlier said to me, well, Jane, it looks like you're crawling up, you know, the ladder, you're moving up. And I said, you know, I'm not sure what kind of a ladder it is. Maybe it's one of those little rope ladders, you know, that's like a fire escape, and they just kind of flop it out the window, and you're standing on it, and you're swinging back and forth. And I don't know, maybe I'm walking towards the fire, or maybe I'm running away from it. I'm not really sure, but I kind of like that metaphor about the ladder. It gives a whole new meaning. And so, really, our Office of Academic Innovation represents change, but change from the bottom up as well as from the top down. And now that I'm beginning to do more reading about organizational change in higher education, I see how very important it is to have a more deliberative, a more intentional approach to change, rather than simply reacting to the latest trend, or also resisting thinking about different ways of presenting ourselves to the world and helping our students. So today marks an important day for Towson University with the creation of the Office of Academic Innovation. During the past several months, I've had the privilege of engaging in substantive conversations with many of our faculty, administrators, students, and staff about the concept of educational innovation and what it means to us as Maryland's premier teaching institution of higher education. I call this the listening tour. I've met with a number of deans recently, and I will be meeting with chairs. I've been invited to college councils to speak to technology committees within the college, because for me, this is the outreach, the real grassroots approach of having conversations about things that really matter to us. Out of these conversations so far, some very important underlying values have surfaced. Number one is that faculty inherently bring a wealth of knowledge and expertise to the academic enterprise by virtue of their advanced degrees and professional experiences. In other words, there is no need to fix faculty. Rather, a system of supports should be created whereby faculty can develop their talents as leaders in teaching, scholarship, and service. Also, a collaborative context needs to be established in which faculty can experiment with their teaching, mentor one another along the way, and generally provoke and evoke critical thinking and reflection about the practice of teaching. And all of this done in a collegial and non-evaluative environment. So those are the core values. Hopefully, you are already familiar with the services of CIAT, the Center for Instructional Advancement and Technology, located on the 4th floor of Cook Library. And as Jim mentioned, those changes are in the works. It will take several months, though, because of the domino effect and remodeling and things of that nature. One of the first things I requested is that a window be added to the CIAT suite so that when you walk down that long corridor on the 4th floor, if you've never seen it, immediately you will have some, quote, insight into where we are and what we are doing. CIAT will continue to offer instructional design workshops and consultations, as well as training on a variety of technologies under the umbrella of the new Office of Academic Innovation. Also, CIAT is now positioned in the institutional organization under academic affairs. And symbolically, this means that their work will now be very focused on the needs of the academic side of what we do in terms of teaching and learning. Under the direction of the Assistant Provost, the already established services provided by CIAT will now be extended to include a more intentional program of services for faculty development over the career span. These include programs such as a new faculty orientation series. That's going to be totally recast, folks. Faculty-led workshops on topics such as course design, syllabi development, and instructional methods. Also, opportunities to engage in interdisciplinary teams for the sustained investigation of problems of practice, often referred to as self-study, practitioner inquiry, or action research. And some research has already shown that that's the place where the grassroots change can take hold, when we have faculty working together on common problems of practice and interest. These types of investigations do have the power for developing a deeper understanding of shared concerns about teaching and learning, and can contribute greatly to forming a culture where teaching is honored and valued by all. So I encourage you to visit our website on a regular basis. It's only been there for 2 days, so we're working on it. It's a work in progress. And new events and opportunities will be posted weekly. We look forward to working with the University System of Maryland and helping them also build their new office that will support what we're doing on the campuses across the state. Your questions, comments, and recommendations are also welcome. We want to know what's on your mind as we move forward in our work. Finally, I want to thank Dr. Marvine Lusky, President of Towson University, whose commitment to supporting academic innovation has made the OAI possible. As with all types of transformative innovations, it takes a certain kind of leadership ability that addresses the needs of individuals while at the same time creates a vision for the good of the whole organization. It is our goal to meet this challenge with your help and your support. Thank you.